Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today we're looking at Wulf and Batsy. This is number 4. This is by Alterna Comics. Yes, $1.99. It can be done. June 2022. I just got this in the mail yesterday, and then I read it last night, and I'm going to do a video on it today. I sent a message to Brian Bow, the writer and author of this, asked him if I could do a showcase on this, because my policy is I don't like to do showcases on brand new comics because I don't want to show off their comic. I want you to buy their comic, but I don't care if it's a 40-year-old comic. Everybody's been paid and stuff like that. But this is brand new. So I asked him, and he said, yeah, sure, go ahead. So there you go. I love the corner box. Okay, first off, let's talk a little bit about Alterna Comics. Alterna Comics is a small comic book company. It prints on glorious newsprint, and you can't really find them in comic shops. I discovered them in a comic shop a couple of years ago. They had a 3-issue limited series, and I keep talking about it, and I keep forgetting the name of the series. But it was about I think it was called Mother Russia, and it was about like zombies in Russia, and it was really good. And the cover price was like $1.50, and I was like, what's going on here? How is this $1.50? Is this old and I didn't know about it? And the guy's like, no, it's a new company. So I bought it. I bought the back issues, and not the back issues. I bought the full 3-issue series, and then I went and I got a bunch of back issues of Alterna Comics. And now, if you follow them on Twitter, keep in mind, I'm not sponsored by Alterna. They don't give me free stuff. They don't give me anything. I don't ask for anything. I want the company to succeed. I just like them. So you go on Twitter and follow Alterna Comics, and they'll let you know, because now they do it like crowdfunding. So for like $15, you could get comics every season. So 4 times a year, you'll just get them sent to you in the mail. And I think they're great. They're even if you don't like them, they're $2 now because life happens. So they went up from $1.50. But anyway, they're great. They're really good. Pete is a good guy, and I have to say this: he's got a new printer, and these comic books, they're printed on newsprint, but these are the best quality comic books coming out now. I mean, I'm just talking about the paper and the printing process. Oh my God, it is. I love looking at this. This is so good. But anyway, now let's talk about Wulf and Batsy. So Wulf and Batsy, I didn't know anything about until I got number 1 in an Alterna Comics bundle, and I really liked it. I was really excited. Now, I'm a longtime comic book fan, as you can see if you've been following my channel. And my older brother, as much as I'm into comics, my older brother is into horror. I have a comic book room. He has a horror room. So as a little kid, he would always wake me up in the middle of the night, and we would watch horror movies and stuff like that. And I thought he was just being a cool older brother. I didn't realize he was just too scared and needed somebody to watch movies with him. So he's into Night of the Living Dead. He's into, just he knows as much as I know about comics. He knows about horror. So I know probably more about horror than the average guy, but not like my brother. But anyway, so this is something that I was like, oh, a horror comic. And I've been filling in my gaps for like eerie and creepy and all those old Warren magazines of horror. So this came out, and I just looked at the cover, and I was like, I'm gonna like it. I'm talking about issue number 1. And not only did I like it, I loved it. So now this is one of the things that I look forward to when Alterna sends out their comics, is Wulf and Batsy. I think this is a continuing series. I don't think he has any plans of ending it anytime soon. So there we go. All right, so Stairway to Hell. And here we have, this is Wulf, obviously, and that's Batsy. Wulf is a werewolf. Batsy is a vampire girl. And let's open up the comic after 3 minutes of me rambling. I'm going to show the ads. This is Alterna ads. What is that? LuckyDawnComics.com. Again, I don't get any money from these guys. I just want, it's a small company, and I want them to succeed. So this is a continuation from last issue. Wulf and Batsy, they're always on the run. They people don't like them. They're monsters. They eat people. She drinks blood. The werewolf eats flesh. So they're constantly on the run looking for a place. Matter of fact, the first issue, I think it was called Home. We Have No Home. All right. And what they do is they stumbled upon this graveyard, and the undead who live there are scared because this mad scientist keeps abducting their friends and using them for experiments. They're like, yeah, they go up to the castle, we never see them again. So I thought that was kind of funny that the undead are afraid of a human. Little play. So she goes to investigate, and then we find this blonde chick who is going there to she wants to marry. She just assumes he's a rich single scientist. So she's a gold digger. I couldn't think of the word. I was freaking out. So he likes to do, like every mad scientist, he wants to live in privacy in his creepy little dark castle, but he's forced to be a host here. And here we have, like, this is Sludge. I don't know what that guy's name. There's Batsy and a sexy schoolgirl outfit. She's being all seductive because she's just assuming that he's rich and wants companionship. He doesn't. Okay, so Brian Bao does all the art, and yes, it's in black and white. I don't mind black and white. I think it's wonderfully moody for this comic. Let's look at the indicia. We already know that's this number 4, 2022, Alterna Comics, blah 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 blah. But I always like to show the indicia. So I like this art. It's like cartoony, but I don't know why I'm saying but. Like, there's nothing wrong with cartoony. It's a cartoony style, but very detailed. That's the but I was looking for. And I talk about this, but I haven't talked about it in a while. Storytelling. Storytelling in graphic art, which is comic book art, is the ability to tell a story through the pictures. It's, think of these as each panel as a cell or a frame in a film. Just imagine if the frames in a movie, as you put them, were just in a disjumbled mess and you couldn't tell what was going on. That would be bad storytelling. And I'm not even talking about the sound or words. So this is one frame. Look at the storytelling. We know what's going on. Okay, Brian's is pretty darn good with storytelling. So you could remove the words, which would be a shame because the words are pretty funny. You could remove the words and still get the gist of what's going on. And I like that. And that was something that the early Marvel guys were just wonderful at. They were wonderful at storytelling. They had to be, because the Marvel method, which I'm not going to go into now because I've talked about the Marvel method many times. So I like the storytelling. I like the cartoony artwork, but yet it's detailed. So, because a lot of cartoony stuff leaves detail. And I like that the lack of backgrounds. Let's go back to the first splash page. Because it works. This is a creepy gothic castle, and it's like we have a light source on the table and everything else in the darkness. Now, I'm not Brian, never met the man, interacted with him, he's been nothing but a gentleman. So this is his choice. This could have been a cheesy way to not do details and do a faster page, but I don't think that's the case. I think it just works. It's supposed to be dark. It's supposed to highlight, like, focused on this, and everything else in the background is darkness. Why? Because he's a creepy, evil, dark. It's a gothic castle, so it works. If this was a Marvel comic, I'd be like, yeah, they're chinsing out on going fast. But I think this works. It's a neat little, and it kind of, to me, makes everything a little bit more claustrophobic, because even though they're probably in a big room, that light source just pulls the room tighter and gives you a strangled sense. There you go. So look at this. She's like, I don't want to eat the escargot. He's like, eat the escargot. I don't want to eat the escargot. I said, try it. So she's trying to get in his good graces, so she eats the escargot. And here she goes. She's eating it. Now, I've never had escargot either. I don't think you eat these shells. He goes, come. Because some people think it's bad luck to eat snails. And then look at this guy. They're gack delicious. Do you grow them yourself? Actually, those I found while prying up a rotten floorboard in the dungeon latrine. Oh yes, I just remembered. I never got around to washing them. So not only is he evil, he's cruel and he's petty. More on that later. So here they are, like, I live in this castle because I want total privacy. And I don't. And he's basically hinting that he resents that these two women came in. He goes, what sort of experiments? You would never understand. Bizarre. She's like, try me. So, what can I ask? He goes, are you the news? I don't want to know because I'm not going back to jail no matter what, so I'm not telling you. And this is arguing. She's like, oh, what are you working on? She's trying to be flirty. He's like, go get me some more escargot. He's like, there's no more smells. He says, have you looked? Go get it. And he's just yelling and screaming. So, this guy, not only is he evil, not only is he petty, not only is he cruel, he's also a jerk. She's like, so that's no way to treat somebody. More on that later. She's like defending the helpless. More on that later. She's like, excuse me? So he goes, you're so rude to poor Sludge. Don't you see he wants to help? And he's like, rude. He's lucky I don't amputate him. Just look. The menacing look. And she's like, I'll show you amputation. So he's like, oh, what about tomorrow morning? Like, she's remember, I'm trying to seduce this guy. I want to get in his good graces because I want to marry a rich doctor. He's like, oh, how about when hell freezes over? He's like, good night, Professor. And they're going off to bed. Look at that creepy house. Keep out, private property, no trespassers, you know. And here's like one of the undead. He's like, Wolf, look. So now we cut to Wolf. This is the werewolf companion. He's like, if you don't find anything to eat, your hunger is going to drive you crazy. He has to eat every day. That's like one of the things going on in the comic is he has to eat. He's like, let's focus. Let's go to where Batsy's staying. There they are. So here the two sexy chicks are changing into the obligatory sexy horror goth apparel. And she's like, he goes, I don't care if he made me eat live snails. He's rich, and that makes him a dreamboat. She's like, oh, come on, can't you see he's old, creepy, and ugly, blah, blah. He smells like formaldehyde. And, you know, she's changing out of her sexy schoolgirl outfit. He's like, look at all this exotic food. It must cost a fortune. So she's nothing but a gold digger. Money isn't everything. And all those servants, you know, look. And now I like the detail. I like the setup. And, again, the storytelling is excellent. You got the bars on the window so they can't get out. You know, she's posing in. I just love this. He's like, I know some weird things about him. Like what? Like he's demented. Every night he goes down to the cemetery and robs graves. She's like, for riches? No, for corpses. And that's creepy. And here comes Sludge. So they're acting normal. Hi, Sludge. You know, being all cutesy pie. And here's a book. Here's some wine. You know, read, it'll help you go to sleep. And she's just like, okay, and whatever. So she's drinking the wine, and of course, you know, the wine's drugged. So is the professor available? And she's like, where's Wolf? We got to find it. And then she sees him. They're talking, communicating, blah, blah, blah. She's talking to Sludge, and she's like, oh, nobody's here. It's probably just an owl. And then he's like, let's drink some wine. He's dreamy, you know. And of course, she's passing out. And she's changing into her gothic night attire. He's like, Master, they're in bed. Because I don't trust the girl. You mean the reporter? No, the other one. The reporter's the blonde. Because the girl with the black hair, she stood before my fireplace to cast no shadow. She's an unnatural creature. I always knew that would. So get the mirror out of storage. Let's get ready. So they're going to go into vampire hunter mode. She's reading. She's passed out. And they're off. Look at this. Going down into... Well, if you're going to have a gothic castle, you got to have the stairs into darkness. You know, Brian's just good with all the horror tropes. Look at this. And I again, no words. You don't need them. You know, I think a lesser artist would be like, and she descends into the damp darkness. You know, you don't need that. I love the quality of paper. So here's the zombies. Wolf is freaking out. He's getting hungry. She's like, don't worry, we'll get you some food. And this, so he's smelling, and he stops. And she's like, Wolf, what are you staring at? Oh, okay, I get it. No, I don't. So see, this page confused me. As you can see, it's still confusing me now. He's smelling, and he stops, and she's like, Wolf, what are you staring at? Let's get moving. And she makes this like blush face. So was he checking her out? I think that's what he was doing. He was checking her out, you know, in the sexy see-through lingerie. He's still a man under there after all. Okay, at first I thought he was sniffing her because he's getting so hungry. He was thinking about eating her. And he's like, no. Okay, so he's checking out Batsy, and you can't blame him. So here she is, all sleepy, sexy in bed, and Sludge grabs her, and they find all the missing corpses. He goes, I recognize some of them. You know, these are all my buddies. These are the other zombies that have been missing, and now they're running, and they're finding these plans, surgical plans of like attaching bone onto other skulls and stuff like that to I keep saying stuff like that. I'm trying to stop saying that. So how to surgically alter skulls and modify people. And she looks and she finds these books. He lifts her up, and here, human anatomy is flawed. This book is silly. Long live the new flesh. So there we got a Videodrome reference. He definitely likes the horror movie stuff. And again, my brother's into horror, and that means I have to be into horror while watching. I don't mind horror. I like horror. So they're going down deeper. And I love this panel. I don't know. I just love that, the way that the composition, she's over here. I think a lesser artist would have put her right in the middle, but it just shows you that, to me, it gives me like a sense of movement as she's going around. I just like it. It's a long time on a panel. And here we got mad scientist, sexy girl, and, you know, semi-bondage over here, sexy girl in lingerie. It looks like he's going to kill Blonda, and he's going to ruin Wolf's dinner. Okay. He's going to ruin Wolf's dinner. So, just when you started to like her, you can't help it. He's saving her so she could be brutally murdered and eaten by a werewolf. They're not good people. Everybody in this comic, maybe the zombies are good, I don't know, but everybody's kind of bad. And that made me stop and take pause for a second. I was like, oh yeah, Wulf and Batsy. She's a vampire, he's a werewolf. They exist on horror, blood, and murder. So he's just, look at that face. Look at that face. That is such a great panel. And I'm so glad he didn't put any words on that panel. Look at that. What a great panel. She said, where am I? She wakes up and she's like, don't worry. You're the witness, the experiment, and the participant all in one. And he's like, the other girl is missing. Don't hit me. And he's like, flesh could be changed, it could be sliced, it could be carved, sculpted into a myriad of unproven shapes. And she's like, what are you going to do? You're demented, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, how do you know it's going to work? Look at, and all of these altered beings are coming out. You see? So he discarded the other body parts that he didn't need. And she's like, what if they rebel against you? He's like, me? They won't rebel against me. I am the first one. So some David Cronenberg body horror over here. She's freaking out. Can you blame her? And Adam of the Macabre, he throws his face in a formaldehyde jar, takes out that, and they're ready to go. And here comes, so now the weirdos join us at last. That guy's calling them weirdos. And then continue next issue, so this is a 3-part story, at least maybe 4, who knows. And then Captain Bloodclot's famous novelties. This I got a kick out of. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I always at the Fun Factory novelty ad, so this is goofing on that. Exciting new booklet. Are you an attractive, adventurous female in need of ideas for the next sleepover? Are you a curious male who wonders what all the pretty girls do at their sultry overnight soirees? Find the answers in this exciting booklet. Truth or Dare, Spin the Bottle, Pillow Fighting, Underwear Dancing, and a variety of lesser-known kissing games are all described through detailed text and over 100 revealing photos. Halloween masks, fake backstab, roadkill, disease, flies and disease, kill the fly and save the child. This, I don't know why, this made me laugh more than it should have. Amazing new book, Worm Boy. It's touching yet ghastly, the true story of the good little boy who only wanted to eat worms in the cruel world of parents and teachers who tried to stop him. Brian, there's something wrong with you. And this, sexy severed legs. A grisly collection of severed but female legs found in a freezer unit of a recently jailed murderer. For sale! Place your order while legal claims of said items is tangled in red tape. F is wrong with you, Brian. European horror movie style see-through nightgowns, $20 each. Yeah. Build your own gun of the future, Transylvanian flag. I wish that was real. I'd order that. And here's Brian yelling. He's like, what are you doing modeling this? I'm sorry, boss. I was young. I needed the money. And here's another ad. I don't know. I'm laughing at that. There's Brian Bow. Forgive me if I'm saying your name wrong, Brian. And there we go. Little thoughts on this. It's horror. It's humor, and it works. It's good because I like the characters, and it's just perfect example of like that. What do they call it? The anthropomorphic principle. I like Batsy better than Wulf, although because she's more human looking, she's sexy, she's cute. That totally works. It's the same thing that James Cameron did with Avatar. He wanted you to like and be attracted to whatever her name was. So they perfectly designed the big Bambi eyes and stuff like that, and that's what she looks like. To the point when she's like, "Oh yeah, that's Wolfie's dinner." I was like, "Oh yeah, she's a monster." So Brian, good job. You pulled me in, and then you gave me like a little shock to my system to remind me that this is first and foremost a horror comic. So that was good. The bad guy, Dr. Von Zonrog, whatever his crazy name is, he reminds me of Anton Arcane from the Swamp Thing comics. I always said that Anton Arcane to me is the most evil of all evil villains, because when you look at Magneto, ultimately Magneto, it's ego, it's pride, and arrogance. But ultimately, his motivation is he wants to save his people, his mutant race. You know, Doctor Doom, it's pride, it's whatever, it's pettiness, it's arrogance, but he wants to rule the world and make the world a paradise under his iron fist. And I'm trying to think of other villains. I can't even, like Dr. Octopus. He wants to advance the cause of scientists. There is some nobleness in his stupid petty schemes, in his problem way of life. Anton Arcane, for those of you who are not familiar, he is the main villain in the Swamp Thing comics. He just wants to F with his niece. He just wants to mess with Abby. You know, at first, at first he wanted a Swamp Thing's body. That was the original. But when Alan Moore take over, he just was a dirty old man who wanted to molest and torture his niece. So freaking petty. He becomes a demon. He becomes a sorcerer. He becomes a mad scientist. His motivations are this small, tiny. Even the other villains are like, oh God, that's what you want to do? What the hell's wrong with you? Like, Magneto's like, I'm a savior of a race. Dr. Doom's like, I'm gonna usher in a golden age. And Anton Arcane's just like, I'm a dirty old pervert. This bad guy reminds me of him, you know. Although nobody's as bad as Anton Arcane. He's the worst bad guy in the world as far as his motivations. At least he was up until I stopped reading Swamp Thing. So there you go. I really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. I look forward to the comic. The only thing that's bad is that Josh Howard's T-Bird and Throttle is over, because I'd get them at the same time and read them both. I really liked them. Alterna is kicking it, guys. Such good comics. You are really missing out if you are not buying Alterna comics. They're dirt cheap. Pete Samedi, the owner of Alterna, is a great guy. Brian Bow's a great guy. Josh Howard's a great guy. Everybody I've ever interacted with, the guy who does Tinseltown, I forget your name, buddy, David something, he's a great guy. It's a good company. These people like you. They like their customers. They respect their customers. They're comic book fans. They put out such good stuff. And now I'm going to rant and rave for an hour and a half. But, and I did something that I never do. I contacted Brian Bow, and I commissioned some art that I'll show someday when I get it. I'm very patient with that stuff, so take your time. I also commissioned some from Josh Howard, too. I never did that before. I'm not the guy that buys original art. Even when I go to comic conventions, I get more of a kick out of just talking to the guys. I don't go after autographs, although I do have a few. I don't buy original art for people. I like the comics. So, I don't know. Something about these two comics really got to me. All right, and now I'm ranting and raving. So thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you tomorrow with the new video. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. As always, I'll take requests if you. I kind of like that. And I didn't mail out the contest winners yet. I'm sorry. I've been working a lot of overtime. I'm probably going to mail them out on Tuesday. So forgive me for not mailing them out. And the contest is over. All the comics have been claimed. Thank you, guys. That was a lot of fun. I'll mail them all out in one batch on Tuesday. Okay. And there was one other. All right. I was thinking of this. A few people have been talking about their own comic collections. If you guys are interested, I wouldn't mind doing. I think it would be kind of fun. Let's try it out. If you want to send me like a short, like 10-minute clip or whatever, and if as long as it's not cursing and nudity, maybe I'll host it as a video on my comic. It would be kind of cool to have an alternative opinion, especially if it's a comic I already showcased as like kind of a reaction. I don't know. I thought of that last night. Let me know. All right. I'll see you tomorrow, guys, with a new video. Bye-bye.